Well, good afternoon, folks. This is Neil Huff from Trinity Church. I'm here with Rob Spadell and Jamie Loving, and we are talking about how members of the church family might be able to make an end of the year contribution to the life of the church in a way that benefits both the individual and the church. And so I'm thankful to both Rob and Jamie for joining us and sharing this time. And so I'm going to turn it over to Rob and ask him to tell us something that we might take advantage of as members of the church family.
Okay, thanks, Neil. Well, I just, as a prelude, I thought I would just say I've been in the investment business for about 30 years. And that's part of the explanation for why I've got all this gray hair, because, typically I would not want to give any investment advice, but I do have two pieces of investment advice I'd like to give. The first one is buy low and sell high. The other one, which is even more important, is buy low and donate high. And, the reason I can say that, and I'm not giving investment advice, is that I'm not saying sell highest or donate highest, but just to talk about how well markets have done, how well all of you who own financial assets have done. In the last 100 years, the average returns from owning stocks, total returns, including dividends, has been in the range of 8 or 9% per year. But it's only a couple times in that 100-year period has it actually been in around 8 or 9% in a particular year. It varies very dramatically around that. And we have had some phenomenal years. This year, despite COVID, markets are up 15%. In the last 5 years, markets have been up 15% per year. In the last 10 years, markets have been up 14% per year. So these are dramatically above the long-term average of 8 to 9% that I referenced earlier. So again, not to say that the time, if you give a donation today or sell today, it could well go higher. But it's just that from the starting point of where we are today, long-term returns are likely to be substantially lower than what we've experienced in these last 10 years. So again, buy low, donate higher. And this is a particularly good time to do it. Let me just give a quick example. Apple, and this goes for all of the big tech stocks as well. Amazon, Google, Facebook, Microsoft. They've had returns that are even dramatically more than the broad market that I've talked about. So for our clients, we bought Apple at about $25 a share only 5 years ago. And at that time, it was selling for 10 times earnings and had a dividend yield of close to 3%. The stock is up 5 times in just the last 5 years. And so, any of these tech stocks that have done so well would be fantastic candidates to help the church and then to help yourself in terms of getting a donation, getting a credit on your taxes. And so let me turn it over to Jamie Loving to take us all through the mechanics of that in a little bit more detail.
Thanks, Rob. I was the treasurer of Trinity for a number of years, and I was always very impressed that at the end of the year, we would usually get a couple of stock gifts. And I felt like those people had really figured out how to take advantage of some terrific opportunities, both for them and for Trinity. So to piggyback off Rob's example, where he had bought Apple 5 years ago for $25, and let's assume that it's selling for about $125 today. If you were to sell that stock and make a donation to Trinity, you would have to pay tax on that sale. So you would have a $100 gain, and if you have a long-term tax rate of 20%, you would pay $20 to the IRS. But if you donate that one share of Apple stock to Trinity. Trinity will get the full $125. You'll get a tax-deductible donation for $125, your donation to Trinity, and the IRS will get nothing. So, you know,
And the state of Virginia gets nothing.
And the state of Virginia gets
because they would otherwise get 5% also.
That's right. That's right. Exactly. So, so really, by if you have the opportunity to donate stock that has appreciated, and you've held that stock for more than a year, it can be a great win-win, both for the charity that you give it to, which might well be Trinity, and also for yourself. So as you move toward the end of the year and you think about the gains that you've had in some of your stock portfolio, if you have a stock portfolio, you might consider that that giving some shares of stock might be a very effective way to both help organizations that you want to help while also minimizing your tax liability.
That sounds like an awesome win-win-win for everybody involved. And I think we do want to say that while Rob and Jamie are experts in their fields, we encourage anyone that has questions to consult their own financial advisor or their tax advisor. And I think I can say honestly that Rob and Jamie would be willing to answer any questions anybody has, but they're not, unless you employ them, they are not your financial or tax advisor. So just encourage you to be aware of that. We just, as Jamie said, we are into the end of the year. Both Rob and Jamie said we're at the end of the year, and as a church, we are in need of end of the year gifts. That's one of the things we look for at Trinity, to fund the ministries of the church that make a difference in our lives. And so we're just offering you some information about how you can give at the end of the year. There are many ways, and there's information on our website about that. But this is one way that we felt like would be important to share with you. So I just want to thank Rob and Jamie for taking some time to make this recording with me. And we look forward to receiving some gifts of stock, and hope that if you can do that, you'll take advantage of this opportunity. So Rob and Jimmy, thank you both for spending time today to do this, and look forward to seeing what fruit this bears in the life of Trinity Church. Thanks a bunch.
Sounds good. Merry Christmas.